Hey Funky fans, and welcome back to the channel. It's 36 Chambers of Funk, 36 COF, and today I've got my Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage review. Now, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Carnage, because I will be going into spoilers about the film, obviously. So, obligatory spoiler warning gone. 3, 2, 1. Let's get into this review. And all in all, I mean, I'm going to give you my rating of Venom 2 overall. And overall, I would give it a 6 out of 10, in all honesty, and this is because of a few reasons which I'm going to go into this review. But first, I want to talk about the tone of the film, and the tone of the film was, for what they established in Venom 2, the tone was fine. I just felt like it was too buddy for me in terms of what we came to know, what people have come to know Venom as in the comics. Now, I know this is the cinematic universe, so it's different to how the comics portray Venom, but I did not like, and I will say again, there was a scene in Venom 2 in which Venom first comes across Carnage, and he actually retreats back into Eddie, and he says, "Oh no, a red one," and that scene itself, it took away from Venom for me. It took away his character development that we'd seen from him, because as we see earlier on in the film, that Venom is talking about he wants to be a crime fighting duo with Eddie Brock. Now, I've got no issue with this, obviously, hinting more to the more recent comic iteration of Venom, where Venom is more of a hero or anti-hero if you want to go down that route. But I'd say Venom in the current state of the Marvel comics, he's a hero for all intents and purposes. But that, like I said, that one scene where he retreats away from seeing Carnage is just like, oh, you want to be a crime fighter, but you only want to fight weaker human opponents. That scene, it just didn't gel with me. Like I said, it took away from what we were learning about Venom throughout. Now, some might say it was because, well, Venom he's seen as like a parasite, a vermin on his home planet. But again, it wasn't. I didn't like that scene. It kind of ruined the tone. If not ruined the tone, it hindered it. It just grated. It just jarred with me. That one scene jarred with me, and another scene I want to get into is when Carnage actually escapes from the prison, because that happens in the movie. Carnage does escape, obviously, and given his namesake, Carnage, you would think that there would be a whole lot more, Carnage, there would be a whole lot more blood and guts, and it'd be a lot more visceral, but we don't get to see any of that. And I know the film is a 15 or 18, so they can't go over the top with the gore. It has to be set to a certain limit. You can still see people die, but it gets cut off screen and things like that. But with a character like Carnage, again, if you've read the comics and you know about Carnage, he is his namesake. He's Carnage incarnate, and he does leave a trail of blood and gore in the comic books. If a hero is going up against Carnage, they tend to find it a lot more tougher than facing Venom, and that is only because of Cletus Cassidy and his personality and his relationship with the Carnage symbiote. Because Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer, so he has no remorse and he has no second doubts about maiming someone, whilst Venom or Eddie Brock is, again, for all intents and purposes, a good guy. Eddie Brock was never born a serial killer like Cletus Cassidy, and I don't feel like the film really covered that distinction between the two. I mean, we see Cletus Cassidy, and it's established that he is a serial killer. He is a vile piece of work who deserves to be buried under the prison. But as Carnage, he doesn't seem like much more of a threat with the Carnage symbiote, if that makes any sense, because it's just like an evil person who has the Carnage symbiote. But if it was the comics, when Carnage escaped the prison, everyone would have been slaughtered. He would have made his way through and killed everyone. But again, we don't see it, and I believe it is due to the 15 rating, which kind of hinders and doesn't build up Carnage to be as much of a threat as he should be. Because in my eyes, he just seemed like, oh, it's Venom but red. But I myself know the history of Carnage and what he's capable of. Like I said, the tone of the film, it was very buddy, and it works in some parts and it doesn't. Like, for instance, I wish they had played more on, if it seemed more buddy, I wish they played on more on the relationship between Eddie and Venom. I wish we got to see them more in a cooperative relationship more than an antagonistic. We just have to work together because we're all each other has, basically. Because that's the type of relationship that came off between them. Now, like I said, I wanted to see a more cooperative relationship between the two. Like, a good scene for that would have been when Venom is making breakfast or trying to make breakfast, and again, he succeeds, but he makes a mess of everything. You see it in the film, he makes a mess of the kitchen, and when he gives the plate, it's just there's just everything on one plate. I would have liked to have seen Venom do it with more finesse, to maybe show that him and Eddie Brock are, like I said, in a more cooperative relationship. That's what I would have liked to have seen. So it would have been a nice contrast to then see Carnage, someone who just instinctively connects with his symbiote like that, just due to their crazed and psychotic natures, opposed to a Venom and Eddie who have come to agree and work together. And again, I think that would have helped later on in the film when it came to the fight between Eddie and Venom when they split up. Because I feel like they could have reworked it slightly, so maybe we see Venom being more apologetic on what he's done, because he's the reason why Carnage exists in the movie. He attacked Venom, gets angry because Carnage is attacking Eddie Brock. He gets angry, he lashes out at him and drags Cletus close enough that Cletus is able to take a bite out of Eddie's thumb, and in doing so take a bit of the symbiote and bond it with himself. I wish we got to see Venom be more sympathetic, more apologetic toward the situation, or even if Brock then told Venom just to leave because of Venom's actions, he created Carnage, which would have made them whole breaking up more. It would have gave it a bit more. It would have gave a bit more weight to the scene and the whole breakup between the two, but again, the creators went down a different route with that. Now, all in all, like I said about the whole buddy dynamic, it wasn't something that again, it's not something that I dislike, but it's not something I like as well. I'm 50-50 when it comes to it. I think it works, like, because Tom Hardy is a great actor, so I think he was able to help make those scenes work, make them more enjoyable from my eyes, personally. But again, it's not what I'd like to see from my Venom. Maybe like, for instance, one thing I would have loved to have seen was Venom and Eddie going around and hunting down like serious hardened criminals and taking them out. But again, I'll go back to the film's 15 rating and the reason why we couldn't see more stuff like that. Now, I do want to talk about the cast of the film, and I will say that Tom Hardy did a great job of Eddie Brock and Venom. I enjoyed his performance. Again, certain things I wish they would have changed, but again, it still worked in the film. It still worked overall. We have Michelle Williams, who played Anne Weying, who was Eddie Brock's previous fiance from the previous film. We have Naomi Harris, who plays Frances Barrison / Shriek, Cletus Cassidy's girlfriend. We have Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson himself, and we also have Detective Patrick R. Mulligan, played by Sean Graham. Now, if the name Patrick Mulligan rings a bell, it is because Patrick Mulligan is a police officer who gets his own symbiote in the comics. So there was a teaser toward the end where his eyes glow blue. So that is a potential teaser for him being the next Venom, or even being rolled into the MCU now. And I will say that Shriek, the character of Shriek, who is Cletus Cassidy's girlfriend, I like from the little we saw of her, I liked her. I feel like they could have done more with the character, like another angle I would have went down. Like, this is one thing I always do in my reviews. I tend to rewrite the film in a way that I feel would make the film better. So in my eyes, I felt it would have been better if we had Shriek, or Frances as she's known, if we had her help break Eddie, not Eddie, if we had Frances help break out Cletus, or if she didn't break him out, she at least escapes on her own and makes her way to him as he's escaping. I think that would have been better. It would have shown her in a better light, because she has this sound manipulation, this sonic scream type ability, which is very deadly, but we barely get to see her use it at all. So I would have preferred if she had used her powers in order to escape and then met up with Carnage. Because again, we have Anne Weying, who really does nothing in the film, all in all. I feel, again, her character could have been taken out or replaced with someone else, or extra half as easily. Because we see Anne Weying, she bonds with Venom in order to help break Eddie out. I would have liked to have seen Carnage give Frances a piece of his symbiote in order so she can then go help fight Venom alongside her. But again, I guess they didn't have the time for it, and they were looking to kill her off straight away, because, spoilers, she dies, or she's alluded that she may be dead. But again, that's something that may be disclosed later on in future films or Marvel properties. Now, the character of Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, what can I say? I did enjoy the character. I did enjoy Woody Harrelson's portrayal, but like another gripe I had with the film is that we didn't see. It took a while for us to actually see Carnage, and that's one thing I was hoping against. I was hoping that we got to see Carnage sooner in the film, and we got to at least have Venom fight Carnage at least once, lose, and then come back stronger. Because again, there's this, like, going back to the film, there is a section where Eddie and Venom separate and they go their own separate ways. Venom goes around bonding to different people in order just to get around. Now I thought what the filmmakers were going to do was have Venom fight Carnage whilst bonded with someone else, and realise, oh, he can't defeat Carnage with this person because he hasn't achieved like a cooperative relationship with this person. Because it seemed like Venom was just going from drunk party goer to drunk party goer, bonding with them. So it seemed like they weren't in the right mind mentally in order to be able to process something like this. But not many people would anyway. But I would have liked to have seen Venom go up against Carnage with bonded to someone else, him lose, and maybe a continuing fight where he keeps bonding to other people to try and take out Carnage, and realising that in order to defeat him he needs to go back to Eddie. That I felt would have been better, rather than how they make up by, like I said, Eddie's girlfriend, Eddie's ex-girlfriend who bonds with Venom again and helps break him out of prison. Because again, but I don't want to keep ragging on the film, because I feel like I'm ragging a lot on this film, but I did enjoy it. But again, it's just the things in the film that I felt would have made it that I would have took it from a 6 to maybe an 8. But okay, now guys, we have to talk about the end credits. I have to talk about the end credit scene, and Okay, now guys, let's talk about the end credit scene. And the end credit scene, spoilers ahead. I will say spoilers if you haven't seen Loki, because I will be talking about Loki briefly in this section, and spoilers if you don't want to know about the future of Venom in regards to potential movies coming up. Okay, I've said it. Venom and Eddie are, we see them in a hotel. We first see them on a beach, relaxing on holiday after they have defeated Carnage. Surprise, surprise, that happened. What you thought they were gonna die? But they're on vacation, they're on a beach and they're relaxing. And the end credit scene, it cuts to them in the hotel room, still on holiday. They're talking, and Venom starts to tell Eddie, or he begins to tell him about the history of symbiotes, the lives of symbiotes that span over millions, billions of galaxies. Now, just before he actually starts to share this information with Eddie, we see this huge flash of light, like, takes over the screen, and it transports both Eddie and Venom into another hotel room. Now, we don't know where they've been transported to. Eddie assumes that this is something Venom's done, but Venom assures him that he's got nothing to do with this. And the TV in the hotel room, we hear a familiar voice, and we do hear J. Jonah Jameson. And I will say that this is taking place during the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, because it is the same news broadcast we hear where J. Jonah Jameson himself reveals that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So somehow, due to what my theory is it is due to Loki and the events that have happened in Loki, especially in the final episode. There's somehow Venom's universe, or Venom has been transported from his universe into the MCU universe. And Venom even notes that he doesn't say specifically, I recognize him, but Venom does go up to the screen and says, that guy. Now he says that guy, and for me, because like I said, the Venom symbiotes, they are hive mind, so Venom will have memories from that other symbiotes will have the memories that other symbiotes will have gained over years. So my theory is that through the multiverse, that other symbiotes are able to maintain this hive consciousness, and in doing so, Venom, well, I'll say Tom Hardy Venom is able to know, if he doesn't recognize Peter himself, the face of Tom Holland Peter Parker, he at least knows the name Peter Parker, and that, I believe, is due to, of course, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man having the symbiote at one point. So that is my theory behind that. But that is all in all my Venom. But all in all, that is my Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage review. You guys, let me know what you thought of Venom. I'll drop a like down below. I'll comment on the video and share your views with me, guys. I'm gonna head off, but you guys keep it fresh and keep it funky. I'm the 36 Chambers of Funk. Take care, keep it funky. Peace.